just love the drama.
Biggest U-turn since winter fuel allowance.
Cut that.
Because loose lips sink ships.
And what the fans want is to stop teams being owned by madmen.
Listen, you're really making a mess here. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. We're getting really cross with you.
The sticky patch came when the rest of the team's sticky patch came, which was sort of January onwards.
Grumble, boobs joke, hot ones.
No, let me tell you, I don't have to look at this objectively at all.
The Wednesday week!
Put on your podcast!
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday week. There's just the three of us this evening. I'm joined by Ash and Stevie. Holly sends her apologies because Monday is Monday and it does kick you in the arse. And sometimes you can come into these things a little underprepared. As over the years, we've all started to realise. Welcome to join us on the Wednesday week. Don't forget to press like and subscribe and get involved in all of our social nonsense. Tonight, we've got a draw between Sheffield Wednesday and West Bromwich Albion to get involved in. It's not going to be a barnstormer, so we're not going to spend too long on it because, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I tell you what, let's get right into it. I normally at this point I'd put up the lineup, but is what it is. I ain't got it ready. There just didn't seem to be any point anymore. Usual suspects in the usual places. This time we started with Ugbo up front over Cadamartri. Ash, is that right? Oh, you did get it right.
Hey, look at that. Yeah, well, yeah.
I've done all of the homework, mate. I've done all the homework. It's all there for you.
It's a good job Stevie's on this show, isn't it, Dan? You know, you might be the face. Steve does all the hard work behind the scenes, and I just call journalists out for dogging. So. Yeah.
It's been a hell of a week.
It's been a great week. Yeah, yes, mate. Obviously, yeah, you've got the starting lineup there. There's not much you can say. I know what you're saying, Dan, about the starting lineup. There's not a great deal you can say because we've said it threadbare. We are down to the bare bones, but. Yeah, Ugbo for Cadamartri, and obviously Horvath has come back in anti after Lumley had a brief appearance. Is Cadamartri fit? I mean, I know he didn't play because he were away with Jamaica, weren't he, for a couple of games. Is he carrying anything or anything? Because I can't really see what we've seen in Ugbo to make Pedersen pick him over Cadamartri. Yeah, I know we are very light up top. I know, I get that. But does Ugbo warrant playing 60, 70 minutes and bringing Cads on for the last 20 rather than the other way around?
Do you know what? I was going to bring that up. I think that's a great point. Go on, Stevie.
Apologies.
I think Pedersen's come out and said that he felt that Ugbo, did he call it the red zone? You've got these fancy areas on the pitch now. He said Ugbo's better in the red zone than Cadamartri, hinting that he would sit in front of the midfield and be between the defensive line, the attacking line when we're out of possession. He seems to feel, I think he's saying that Ugbo does a little bit more backtracking than Cadamartri will, although I don't necessarily think that that's an argument that holds with me. And if it becomes a hot topic tonight, I'm more than happy to hold that conversation because I don't think that's fair.
There's nothing hot about that. It's bollocks, that, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a right load of old shit. I can't. That's just the desperate pleas of a man trying to keep the confidence of a player, what remaining last shreds of confidence he's got inside him to try and keep that flame alive.
Yeah, but Dan, it's like what you said a few weeks ago, isn't it? There's just something about him, and Holly's put it in the chat the other day as well. There's just something about his body language and the way he's carrying himself that he's just got nothing about him at all. And we always say, don't we, that a player that's lacking in any sort of confidence wants one to go in off his arse or anything, doesn't it? But he's not even in them positions. He doesn't even bust a bollock to get in them positions either, does it? Or he doesn't look like it. And I know he's a professional sportsman. I'm sat here, God knows how many stone overweight, not shifted a dumbbell in weeks or whatever like that, but I just don't see what he's offering or trying to offer, and it's frustrating as hell because, like I said, we've got Cadamartri who always, when he comes on, he runs, done it, he chases, he hustles. And for what Stevie said,
Cads is on his way up, right? Cads is bursting along, trying to get a move, trying to get an extended run in the team, all the rest of it. And we've got Ugbo there phoning it in. It's honestly, it's absolutely, it's difficult to watch. He doesn't hold it up. He doesn't harry. He doesn't pressure. He doesn't have these intricate 1-2s. It's just a geezer just dopily stroking around, like going, "Oh, look at the grass over there. Look at that. Why is that a different colour?" You know what I mean? It's honestly genuinely hard to watch.
Yeah, you could understand if he'd got something about him holding the ball up. You know, the big man up front. You pump the ball up, because I noticed as well on Saturday we passed it around a bit and got it back to Horvath, who punted it up top. And you know that it's just going to either come straight back to you, or their centre halves are just going to lap it up and then play from there. I just didn't understand it, but obviously we're going into it. But yeah, starting lineup was as it's going to be, and expected.
Yes, so starting lineup was, we started, we come straight under the cosh, Stevie. Mikey Johnston smashed one from outside the box. Ethan Horvath, playing like a man possessed, got himself in the team of the week.
Yeah, he did. And yeah, when we got out there on into the sort of stands they've come out, it was as it always is, a really good atmosphere. And then it was 100-mile-an-hour start. It was ball zipping about, ball being pinged, a couple of turnovers earlier on, and then I think it was 3 minutes in. Seemed like a fairly routine shot from where I was. Looking back, it's actually a better save than I gave it credit for. Down low to the left, and he's palmed it out. He weren't travelling like certain other shots he might have faced. Would have done, but he's done well to get down low and palmed it out. And Amidst was there to sort of carry it away from danger, which I think he did a lot of on Saturday. He did a lot of sort of movement forward from that sort of 6-yard box forward into the middle third, if you like. So yeah, good start.
Yeah, I made a note about Harry Amidst carrying it out after that save, because once again Ethan Horvath has parried one into danger, essentially. You know what I mean? But like I say, he did well to get to it. But what Amidst did, which I thought was quite telling of the level of football that he's been brought up with, he didn't just hoof it. I don't know if you noticed that first one, he just kind of takes a couple of touches, gets his head up, scans around, and then plays a ball. It's actually really nice to watch. There was no pressure there, which I felt he did a number of times during that day. That kid is going to be quality. I feel like, because we've got British bullshit, I feel like there's going to be a point where somebody goes, "Not very tall though, is he? He's not very big," even though we're not in that 90s era of having to be a certain height to be certain positions like goalkeepers and centre backs and whatnot. 16 minutes in, Svanti broke clear and attempted a left-footed shot. Not really much coming from that, was the Ash?
No, but like I've seen from Ingleson, I'm getting to like him more and more. I think I'm seeing more from him. He carries the ball well. He just needs some pace, doesn't he? I think he just needs the pace. If he had the pace, then I think he'd be a lot better player. But yeah, Ingleson, I'm quite liking his shot. It was a bit of a nothing shot, weren't it, in the end? But we've got to be getting those positions. We're severely lacking in attacking prowess. So anyone from the midfield. What's up?
I'm just laughing at the point you're making. In other news, water's wet, sky's blue.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's the state of the bleeding obvious, Ash. Yeah, I know. But no, you've got midfielders joining in. I know Bannon's playing a lot deeper. He's not as the attacking threat that he has been before. And I like Valerie in the middle. But yeah, Ingleson. Apologies. I'm liking him more and more, and I think he's going to be. Unfortunately, the position we're in and how we're playing is probably going to hamper him this season. But I'd have liked to see him in us being up the table, winning games and being confident, because I think the whole team's going to be lacking in confidence, aren't they?
Is there an element of, because Windass has now departed, that position that Ingleson's kind of playing? I don't know if it's exactly the same one, but I'm seeing more of Ingleson doing these marauding runs forward, like Windass used to do when that space opened up in front of him. Ingleson's kind of reveling in Josh's departure somewhat, isn't he?
I'd say that, yeah, he's the guy who stuck his head above the parapet in that sort of box-to-box link play. I think I called him in the man of the match poll this weekend. I called him an outlet. So when we put the ball, we're trying to take the pressure off. It's Ingleson that's linking played with our very sort of lightweight, threadbare attacking line in the midfield, and the defensive players that are behind him. He's the one that's going to be the conduit between defence and attack, and I think he does it. He's been doing it really well. I get the argument that he is probably lacking a yard of pace, and that's probably what's holding him back from being a starter in a top end Championship team, if not lower end Premier League team. But he's still fairly young, isn't he? Mid-20s. He's got all the attributes, and I think as time comes, if and when we get to a point where we can get some players over the line that would complement him, I think he'd be a real sort of asset for the team in the second half of the season, regardless of where we are. If we're fighting relegation, if we're down, we've had more points, whatever's going on, we're going to have to play the season out, and we accept it is what it is. But I'm looking forward to seeing Ingleson with a couple more bodies around him if we can get to that point.
Signing players. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. I don't know what's going on. Horvath got called back into action, Stevie. Big save, this one. I thought this one was the best one of the day, maybe later on when Iorfa redirected one to him, but Iorfa took the sting out of a lot of it, but we'll get there later on. Big long shot from the edge of the area, saved well by Horvath, and then the follow-up nearly came straight in. I thought that was impressive, but also a bit scrambly.
Yeah. It was reactionary, and it was one of those things. Again, we've seen him push the ball out earlier on. He claimed a couple on Saturday. I can't remember the exact chronology of where we were, but this particular save, I thought he was really good. He got himself down, made the save, got himself up, reacted really quickly to sort of close down and shut the angle down, and it left Josh Madger with nowhere to go with it, really. And I think by this point there were a couple of rumblings in the sort of the away end that he's doing all right here. And you know what? He's been pretty much maligned over the last few weeks, and he's dropped balls, he's made mistakes, he's done things that we've been critical on the podcast, both online and maybe even sort of when we're talking about him on socials. He grew into the game, and it was another save and then another save. And I think this one in particular just sort of highlighted the fact that he was doing really well on Saturday, and he built from there, really. Yeah,
he really did. He really did. Now, I'm not going to get into Ike. Go on.
Sorry, Dan. Sorry, I was going to go on about Horvath, because we haven't really had consistency from him, have we? He had a storming game against Leeds in the Cup. Then he's made like one or two saves, but then he's not been consistent. Like I said, he has had a bit of an error in him, or perceived error, where we think we could have done better. I hope this is the start of something for him. He's had a rest. He's had a couple of days out, a couple of matches out, but sat on the bench for a goalkeeper. Admittedly, it was his own fault for trying to decapitate somebody. But then the emergency loan, they had to nominate the second game, so he had to sit that one out as well. Might have just thought that he sat on the bench and he's looked at Lumley not do too bad, really. And he might have just thought, right, I need to up my game here. So, and then obviously in the open training session that we'll talk about later, we've got Pierce Charles looked like he was throwing the ball around and kicking. So he's got that as well, hasn't he? So hopefully, I do hope that this on Saturday was the start of something for him to be personally have a kick on and have a good run of games, because we need it as well, don't we? To be honest.
Let's hope. Now we blazed one across the front of goal. Ike Ugbo didn't manage to connect from half a yard out, and I think we've said what we need to say about Ike Ugbo, but that was gash. Second half, there was a lovely poignant moment as the fans in the Hawthorns got up on the 57th minute. We talked about it in the Hello from the Other Side, in memory of Mark Townsend, the guy that passed away at Hillsborough, and Tango also received was it a check from the away supporters? Because that's what it was. These two things are related, Stevie, right? Am I right in thinking that defibrillator? Oh God,
defibrillator.
No, let Daniel do it. Go on, Daniel. Third time lucky, son.
Defibrillator. The defibrillator. Was part of Mark Townsend's. Was needed in that moment, and then and obviously with the thing that's gone off with Tango personally as well. I believe the two are connected, aren't they?
Yeah. So I didn't see the exact post that Tango put out last week, but he said that he was going to be present on Saturday. He was going to be there. There was going to be a presentation. I've got full disclosure. I didn't see the handover of the cheque, and it's only in reading the notes and looking back at what was being said on the Wednesday commentary on Saturday that they said he was going to be presented. But just the whole moment, the ball had gone out, and in the away end, obviously it looks as you're looking out down the right hand side, so you can see all the supporters, the West Brom supporters there, and 57 minutes actually came round, and there was a little bit of a delay, and then the ball had gone out of play, and it was actually, I'll say this, it was the Wednesday fans that started the applause first, and then the West Brom fans sort of caught on. The referee stopped the game, and he led the applause. There were one or two, admittedly, there were one or two of the players that seemed to not know what was going on, but in the stands, it was in unison, absolutely fantastic. About 30 seconds in, you look down, I think a couple of fans started chanting about Tango, and you could see him at the front in the sort of the walkway between the goal and the supporters. He gave everybody a wave. It was really well received, and for the moment that it sort of represented, I don't think it could have been a better one. Mark Townsend's image was displayed on the scoreboard there, and it was entirely respectful and more than deserved for what was obviously a very tragic and awful situation that you'd hope that nobody has to go through in a football circumstance.
Yeah, I like it. I like that when the football fans come together like that. You know, we've received a lot of support in terms of our plight from a lot of a lot of other teams, and to return the favour in some capacity, I'm really happy we can do that. Now, do you know what, lads? I've just realised this is boring me to death. Talking about this game, I'm flat as a witch's tit. Nothing happened. It was a 0-0 draw. Like, I tell you what I want to get to. Let's just the match moments. Ugbo was shit. Iorfa was good. Orvath did some great saves. Let's look at the statistics though. So we got battered, and I think what I want to come away with, what I want to pull at, Ash, is, well, the pair of you, have we got away with one there? Because let me, if you look at those statistics, I'll leave them on screen. There's also the fact that even in the local West Brom press, Josh Madger got a 5, and Samuel Illing Jr. got awarded a 3. And you know what I mean? So,
oh wow,
you know when you're like, kind of like, oh, did we get away with one? Were they shit? Did we play well? That type of thing. What do you reckon, Ash?
And on the flip side, I think Alex Miller had 3 8s in his for Wednesday. You know, on the flip of it, did we get away with one? No, I think we were well good value for the 0-0. To be honest, I know stats can tell every story, can't they? But like, if you went over the highlights and stuff, then Ugbo's chance, then Ugbo's other shot, Ingelsson, Horvath made 2 good saves. And not a great deal after that. So on the face of it, giving it the eye test rather than the stats wanker test, then I'd have said 0-0 was a fair reflection and a great point away. I know we need 3. I know we need 3 points. I know people say, yeah, but it's only 1. But we've got to start from somewhere, aren't we? And we're starting from -6. But do you know, and away to West Brom, who I would say are an easily top 6-7 side, easily. Then I think an away point, and it's going to be tough this season. Don't go wrong. So any points I think that we get on the board is going to be great. So I think it's a great away point. Fans were fantastic, like Stevie said, and I think we just move on to the next game, which is obviously coming up.
I've had some good comments on it there. So Jay Bloggs has gone with it. It was the most unconvincing battering I've ever seen. Ugbo was their best player. West Brom much fancied this season. I think their full title is Ryan Mason's West Bromwich Albion trademark. I think that's what they're called. And someone else has gone with, Big Revs has gone with a 0-0 hammering, which I kind of liked.
Well, I saw Big Rev's comment from earlier, and it was, I'd consider Ingles and Cads as a top duo. Tugboat hasn't got an ounce of aggression in him.
Tugboat, Christ, no, because tugboats, it can't be tugboat because they've got a small turning circle. Stevie, what about you? Did you think we looked out a bit?
It's the kind of game that I would say, pragmatically, if you look at it, I think the last week has galvanised us the support off the pitch and everything else that's happening, the good news, the positivity will have played, I believe, a contributing factor in us getting a point. 3 weeks ago, we'd have got stuffed, we'd have conceded early, and it would have been a rout. I genuinely believe that, certainly for the first half anyway, and then we'd have been clawing back second. If you look at the stats in terms of the metrics, a neutral would look at that if they'd not seen the game and said we were lucky to come away with a point. Forget about your stats, the eye test on Saturday, the game plan worked. And we were quite unlucky. If Palmer had sort of got his body over the ball and struck it down instead of skying it over the top, we could very well be talking about a 1-0 smash and grab. I don't think they'd have complained about it, even though the metrics sort of say that they were the better side, and they probably should have won the game. If we'd have grabbed one late on, I don't think they'd have complained.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Just to wrap it up in terms of predictions, I don't think any of us called that. I think I predicted a loss. I think we all predicted a loss, apart from Holly and Charlie, didn't they? Everybody else expected a battering. So I guess.
Yeah, but what do women know about football?
What do women know? Coming on here on our bloody footballing podcasts and all the rest of it can't be trusted. Anyway, Sheffield Wednesday came out 0-0 winners and chalked a point up on the board to chew away at the deficit.
Don't skip ahead. Don't press that button. These ads are lean, not belly mutton. A tiny break before we pop, and don't forget the fun. Stop.
That always sounds like it's about to kick into a mega chorus, and I don't have the song anymore to find out what that chorus was. So let's get into the timeline of triumph. No longer the timeline of terror, because obviously we're in administration, and apparently that's a good thing. And I'm at pains to keep trying to explain to people why that is. Joe Cran this week reported that that a date had been set for the Owls hearing following charges in relation to breaching EFL regulations, and he also went on to talk about the hearing that's going into DC's ongoing discrepancies. Which I found really interesting, because I think we've said on this show, and I know I've alluded to it, about the fact that he was clinging on because he didn't want people lifting up the carpet, Ash. What do you reckon? They didn't want a few welcome mats moving.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is questioning him. I'm still not going to say his name. This is questioning him and his business acumen. But what? If you get offered 40, 50, 60 million 6-7 months ago, and you turn it down wanting 100 million, and then you let the club just going into administration and you're going to get the pence out of the pound for it, there is something dodgy going on that you don't want people
to be. Now, I need to just say, normally this is where I play the rumour mill thing as a gag, but this is pure speculation on our part. I need to, I just need to make sure I mention that, because, I feel that there's a reason he was clinging on. This, the club was moribund. It was done. It was on its way out. Why are you clinging on? So I'm gonna get it out of the way anyway. The rumour mill. But the comment of the night from Lolo to Wednesday's gone. How funny would it be if he ended up being locked up in Donny prison? I kind of enjoyed that. Right then. So listen, let's move on. Stevie, the Supporters Trust have announced they're holding an open fans forum. What can you tell us about this?
That they're holding an open fans forum. I think the opportunity is for them to bring people together to talk about a positive future, people having voices heard. I don't know if people have been online and seen that it's being held at Wadsley Bridge, which has become sort of the spiritual home of the Supporters Trust. It is going to be live streamed, and I think I can say this now. It's going to be live streamed by both Wednesday Till I Die podcast and us. Just to offer a little bit of background there, the chair of the trust, Ian Bennett, has reached out to Ash and myself with a view to trying to bring fans together. And this is no sort of, we're not highlighting a disparity in terms of union between ourselves and any other podcast or supporters group. The idea from the trust is they want everybody on the same page. It'd be fantastic if, now that things have gone and we're all looking at pushing forwards in the same way, we could all get together and share, the opportunities for people to see it if they can't make it there. So yeah, Thursday night we will be streaming the the forum alongside Wednesday Till I Die. And as we said, it's an opportunity. I think in the graphics somewhere, Dan, if you could just bear with me, I think I've got a promo for it. He said he's just still in there as he puts it up on the screen right now. Back in the blue and white, as you can see if you're watching this on YouTube now, it's a 7 p.m. start up at the bridge. The idea being that people can be have their voices heard, questions asked, take viewpoints to the trust, and I believe there are going to be some guest speakers there, some ex-players and people of sort of repute that are maybe going to be able to bring things together and galvanise it a little bit.
Yeah, and if you can't make it on there, it's going to be live stream between ourselves and Wednesday Till I Die podcast as well. Ash, on the Wednesday.
Sorry.
Go on.
Sorry, I was going to add something to it, but you always move on before you let me. There's going to be other supporters groups there as well being represented. So there's going to be there's quite a lot. Wednesday night are going to be there. I think Rainbow Owls, the Armed Forces. So there's going to be quite a lot of the supporters groups there as well. So if you're a member of them, I think they're going to be in attendance as well. So it's going to be quite a lot of all, not just the trust, there's going to be supporters groups there as well. So
is there going to be supporters groups there, Ash?
Yes, mate. Yeah,
thanks, man. It is reported that former chairman made overtures to the mayor of South Yorkshire, Oliver Coppard. What do you know about this, Ash?
Fuck all. Just what's been said. No, it was done by like a thing where the previous or still the owner, but the previous chairman of Sheffield Wednesday Football Club had made a plea to the mayor to either get his HMRC bill reduced or, I don't know, an extension on being able to pay it, because I think he thought that that's what he could do. Instead of putting your bins out and making sure everything's all hunky-dory, he wants to sort out Sheffield Wednesday chairman's tax bill. I suppose when you're deep in the shit like he was, you're going to try everything, aren't you?
He did ring up George Adodogwengo from Phone Jacker at some point as well to sell himself some gold. And then, Stevie, there was the what are you pointing at? You've thrown me.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know if it had gone up. Goose Creative have been on. We must give them a quick shout out. They've done the graphics for the forum, and obviously they're a partner of ours. So just wanted to raise that and let people know that the beautiful graphics that you can see are the work of Goose Creative.
The club holds an open training session, Stevie. I believe you went down, didn't you?
I did. I was there. It was good. It was really good, and it was nice to see people. A lot happened on Wednesday in terms of the open training session. It was something that was pushed, I think, late Monday, early Tuesday. They talked about it being there from sort of 11 o'clock. You could go down, enter via the south, just go and get on the via the north stand, walk around the back and just get on there, sit in the south. One or two of the LMS group were there as well, plenty of journalists, and they held an actual open training session. I went down with a view to it being they're going to put them through the paces, just do a little bit of running here and there and some passing drills. But they actually did small-sided games. It was a breakout. There were different things going on. All of the squad were there, and you sort of counted as you were going who was missing. So straight first up, when you're looking out on the pitch, you couldn't see Max Lowe, but Max Lowe was there. Yeah, Deshaun Bernard was kitted out. Was not kitted out, but he was in the middle of the field with everybody else. Nathaniel Chalabar was there. The only one that I don't believe was there was Ernie Weaver. Somebody will come in the comments and tell me that I've missed a couple of others. But they were all there. If they weren't training, they were either training alone. I also trained alone. I think Max Lowe did a little bit of running on his own. And then obviously, as we mentioned, the return of Piers Charles, who came out to a fantastic ovation and was put through his paces. Didn't do a lot of diving. It was all handling stuff that he was doing primarily. But yeah, the vibe was fantastic, and watching them train, I'm, a man of a certain age, but seeing the reaction of the kids when they were training and watching the things, and I know Ash might not like me saying this, but watching Bannon in the middle of the park on Wednesday was the guy's on another level to everybody else. The flicks, the turns, the little bits that he was doing in a small area.
That's what happened Saturday. He did it all on the Wednesday. Oh, what's he like? Man alive.
I tell you what I'm interested in trying to work out about a open training session, because I think this must be the only reason why he's getting so many minutes is that Ike Ugbo is scoring double hat-tricks every small-sided game at training, and that's why he's getting a shirt every week. Is that what it is?
Pedersen actually said that. He said he does well in training. When he was talking about his red zone stuff and his idea behind it, he said he does well in training.
But did he?
He worked hard. He ran himself into the ground. He worked really hard. And do you know what, mate? I'll say it. Nothing to do with the on-the-field stuff. I can't remember if he scored. I cannot remember. He must have. He was there for a long time.
To be fair, Steve, if he'd have scored, you'd have had your shirt off. I'd have gone nuts. I'd been kicking chairs out and all sorts. You know,
it was good. And I've clicked a photo that I took and I've stuck on our socials. And what you can see at the minute, if you look into this image, it was one of the early phases. And the reason I've put it up, it just gives you a sort of an insight as to where we are as a squad, as a team at the moment. In the middle of the image that you can see, they're running through sort of dummies that are on the field that have been stuck in there, and they're just playing a phase. But what you've got in the middle is a load of the coaches, and because we have that few players in our squad at the moment, the coaches were actually helping out and taking part in the open training. So that gives you a kind of an insight, but on a serious note, as to the way that these guys are working. I think I counted 13 outfield players that took part in the open training session. They did a 6v6 at the end, small-sided. They pulled the goals in really tight in the central third there, as you do. And they had Bannon as a floater because he was an odd number. In total, there were 16 players taking part in a first-team championship football training session. So when we're going out and we're competing against your West Broms, you're competing against your Middlesbroughs that we, narrowly lost to, and they're looking at being up there, it gives you an insight in terms of where we are with things at the moment.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. I like the fact that we've moved on. Imagine trying to tell John Sheridan and David Hurst that we're going to set up a 4-4-2 with some dummies in the middle of the park. Get on, pal. What's the matter here? Ash, did you? Right. So this week we also announced the Kitman sale, something that's always quite popular. The player worn stuff that gets sold regularly through the club shop, but then we also added in a signing process. A player signing thing, and they were queuing down the road, Ash.
Yeah, we did the Kitman sales, not something new. They did it a couple of seasons ago, but obviously the administrators have come in and they're trying everything, aren't they? They're coming up with anything to raise these funds that we need every month to pay the wages and obviously keep the club ticking on. And yeah, when it got announced, I think it was Tuesday. Was it Tuesday, Wednesday? Or Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday. It was Wednesday, Thursday. So Wednesday you had the 23-24 kit, and then Thursday you had the leftovers, and then 24-25 training stuff. My lad popped down, and he managed to get a couple of pieces. Like he got what he thought was Callum Patterson's, but then it turned out to be Chris Powell's. So CP. I mean, the players had numbers on and the coaches had the names on, but Lewis, he thought that, and he got a couple of the pieces, but obviously didn't get me anything because Pressman don't play for us anymore. And I think that's the only sort of size shirt that I'd be able to fit in. But yeah, mate, the queues were humongous, should we call them? And it was, and again, Sheffield Wednesday fans turned out when the club have asked for. On each day there were four or five players on a table looking for photos, signing things. So once again, the club making good of the assets they've got. So, like I said, fans always turn out for player signatures and stuff, don't they? So they had plenty of opportunity. Pedersen came as well on Thursday straight from his press conference. So we turned up as well. So, I mean, brilliant, isn't it? The stuff. It's taken the club to get into administration. Here we go. Look at that. Lovely. Sponsored by, what is that? Drip. The hell is that? Is that a Red Bull or something? Or is it Water? I don't know.
Just for people listening, Ash completely lost his point because the graphic came up. I was trying to illustrate the point that he was talking about. They just started talking about things.
I can't multitask. I can't multitask.
Award-winning.
Right, I'm going to
Why don't you just let people talk, right? We let you talk and ramble on for ages, and then you come to some shit crap bloody points just to rile the interwebs. But when people actually try and talk, you lay in.
I'm gonna invite you to go back 2.5 minutes, and I went, and this is something we usually do at the shop, and we usually bring in the Kitman sale. And your first sentence was, they don't always do it. They've done it before.
They've done it once before. They're not always
I
do
liked
it. They've done it once.
I thought
before.
it was great. They've done it before, haven't they?
Yeah, once before. Not always do it.
Have we not always done it before? So hang on then. When they refer to it as the Kitman sale, I thought that was like an ongoing thing because we all knew what the Kitman sale was. Have they only ever done it once before?
Yeah, they did it once before with the blue Macron with the white.
Yeah,
jagged
I've got Lee Bullen's top. It was would have been one of the last things he wore before he went. But yeah, I've got myself a Lee Bullen top. Didn't pay for it. The Supporters Trust. The Supporters Trust have released a summary of the meeting that was held on Monday the 27th with representatives in attendance alongside Clive Betts, Lord Blunkett, Paul Stanley. What the fuck is this? What am I reading here? That's just a load of names. The Supporters Trust released a summary of them. So they had a meeting with all these people, right?
Yeah. So let me fill the gap. So the trust held a meeting on the 27th. And then on Thursday, they released the minutes that they called a summary. If you go on the website now, it's been smartened up a little bit. So you can go on the trust handles, and all the minutes and all their documents are now hyperlinked. They had a meeting on Monday with Clive Betts, Lord Blunkett, Paul Stanley, who is obviously one of the admin fellas, and officials from the Department for Media, Culture and Sport, as well as representatives of the FSA. What they've done in that meeting is essentially they've told them where we are with things in terms of trust updates, in terms of their trust activity, and they were asking for or sort of galvanising a relationship where the left hand is watching the right hand, and everybody's starting to come together and work as one to try and create a better future for the fan base. If I'm honest with you, it didn't say, and I mean this with the greatest respect to the trust and to all those people involved, it didn't say anything earth-shattering around what was going on. They talked a bit about the admin process. In this meeting, you need to know that admin's taken place, and this is what admin entails. This is what next steps forward will be. This is what will happen in terms of trying to secure a buyer, so on and so forth. So there was nothing there that wasn't, sorry, it just distracted me then again. There was nothing there that if you didn't go to the meeting or you weren't aware of the meeting that you will have missed if you've been keeping up with things.
I heard you talking, lads. I tell you what, listen, I'm going to bash some adverts in. Let's have a minute. Let's take a swig of pop. Let's start again. Let's reconvene.
Don't go anywhere too far. It's only time for the adverts.
Reason I said that was Stu Williams has even noticed it. He's gone, have you three done a bag of ket or what? We're always sat here in a K-hole just chatting away. Ash is frozen. I don't know if he's frozen on. Fordy's gone with, I've got a Pressman shirt you can have, Ash. So that's nice, isn't it? Matt Davies asked Dan, are you on comments? So for the 18th time this week, Matt Davies asked me to push his Facebook group. We're all Wednesday, aren't we? WAWAW. Wow. Join it. It's on Facebook. There's a lot of people. There's some giveaways on there as well. Lots of Wednesday chat. Get involved. I said it, Matt. Now leave me alone. He's probably texted me 3 times while I've been online. And someone has asked, Jay Bloggs has gone, can we get it out there that we don't sing the ex-chairman's name again? Which Ash, I'm sure you're on board with, right?
Yeah, very much so. I think we are trying to look forward now, aren't we? No point. He's gone. Eventually will be gone, but yeah, I don't think we should sing his name, especially with the to the tune of Ole 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 or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's our favourite song, isn't it? I like that one. I like that one. Right, okay. So an article is released by Joe highlighting a push via Owls Talk to raise 10k. Now, Stevie, this 10k was for the travel to Blackburn, right? This was for away game travel because apparently this has not been getting paid by the club under the previous tutelage of the previous tenure of the chairman, right?
Yeah. So, and anybody on Owls Talk with that sort of information, forgive me, I can't remember if the club approached Owls Talk or the Owls Talk approached the club with an offer of trying to raise £10,000 to cover the costs of coach, hotels, etc. for the Blackburn game, as you just said. That was done in a super quick amount of time, in less than 24 hours. I think that £10,000 raised. Off the back of that, the trust have then, in a show of solidarity, have said, we need to do all we can to, every pound counts, etc. So you're doing your spending, so forth. What we're going to do is we're going to also see if we can get a GoFundMe. I think they've got set up, which will try and get people to continue raising money for the club. And for such expenses and travels, and if we start to fall foul of things going forwards, because we've got November and December coming up, we've still got to make ends meet until we get to that point where the club is sold. And they, off the back of that, managed to raise in a ridiculously quick amount of time, and it's continued to grow as we've gone down the timeline. We may touch on where they've ended up, but at that point they raised around about £20,000 as well. Supporters Trust committed their £20,000 contributing to the running costs of the club. That happened within an hour. Sorry, not 24. It happened within an hour of the news breaking. They then put in their 20 grand, and they've continued to raise money as well over the last few days, which is a fantastic effort from all that have been involved, a fantastic effort from the fan base, a fantastic effort from those supporters groups that are getting it out there and giving it the profile that it needs.
Yeah, the stuff that the trust and Al Salt, I think they've raised something like 75k over the last 2 days, which is absolute insane money. And the togetherness of the fans is something I wanted to pick at. You know what I mean? We've got somebody who's gone with a different name on YouTube has said, I hope we get a new owner who understands the value of fan outreach, because this outreach, this engagement with the fans, and we were talking about the training session before, and we were talking about the signing sessions and the kitman sale and stuff like that. It's great to see, and I think what stands out about it, Ash, is that it's an easy win. It's a really easy win to engage the fans, and we did a bit ourselves, didn't we, brother? And we've been overwhelmed. We've been overawed by your generosity to a lesser extent. Don't get me wrong, we haven't raised 75 G's, but tell us all about it, Smash.
Yeah, it's been one of those things, hasn't it? That you're right, Dan. That people are trying to get to games. They're trying to spend the money in the shop, buy the tickets. Especially the administration have put out the Norwich tickets, weren't they? Are they £20 for adult, £5 for a kid? Yeah, plus a £1 booking fee. So to try and get people, that's going to be obviously a Wednesday night. It's fireworks night. Bonfire night as well, so it's always going to be tricky selling it. So they want people coming through. So everyone's saying, look, let's make this the blue and white night as well. They've called it, haven't they? So they want people to wear blue and white and try. So what a lot of people have done is gone, look, we want to help the club as much as possible. So they've donated. So what they've done, we put out a tweet and a couple of messages on social medias about getting people to the game who wouldn't be able to. So we've been trying to do this for a couple of years, haven't we, lads? We've set up our community initiative that we've had donations and all sorts like that. Any money that we've raised from YouTube or raffles or what else we've done? We've done all sorts, haven't we? The LMS group as well, that we try and get people to the game. So, yeah. So Norwich, Wednesday night, we've managed to get, I think it's about 35 tickets from donations and what we've put towards ourselves. To get 35 Wednesdayites or to be Wednesdayites to the game against Norwich, because some of the people have not been to Hillsborough before that we've managed to get tickets to. So that's good.
Have we managed to ruin some more kids' lives, have we?
Yeah. So yeah, there's a group, a football team under 11s. I think they tweeted out on Saturday, Middlewood juniors. They're going to get to the game on Wednesday night. So massive appreciation to everyone that donated to us or provided tickets that we've managed to get out. So it's good that Wednesday fans are doing as much as they can. And it seems to be that they're buying tickets, they're donating, they're going to the club shop, trying to, like Stevie says, raise the money for the end of the month. Because it doesn't stop, does it? They still got to pay the wages and all the bills.
That's a nice little segue, Ash. We did get announced on Wednesday that the staff and the players were all going to get paid, which was supposed to be Friday, but they all got paid a day early, which I thought was a nice little touch. Just something. It didn't make a world of difference, but it was a nice little trust towards the. It garnered a bit of trust towards the administrators, and I feel like it might have settled a few nerves and things like that. If you do want to hear more from the administrators, Steve and I were fortunate enough to talk to Chris Wigfield, the one of the co-administrators. If you look out on YouTube right now for that, it's a genuinely lovely listen, because I feel like, Stevie, we were going to go down the route of asking the same questions, because he's obviously been on a charm offensive across all the media platforms to speak to as many people as possible and engage with the fans and all the rest of it. But we managed to break into the Sheffield Wednesday fan a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Obviously, people will have wanted to tune in and find out about what admin means and what it does. So we did ask a couple of those questions in the early knock-ins of the interview, but I was keen to not push him too far because there's only so much that he can say, and I didn't want to back him into a corner and, you know, quell the positivity that there is. But there are a couple of threads that we do pull on, and I was really heartened before we get into the Wednesday stuff. I was really heartened that he was giving us reassurances for November and December. I won't go into that now. If you want to find out what he said about players being sold and wages being paid and everything else, it's in the YouTube. It's in our library, so please go and have a look at that. But it was nice to sort of round it off. This is a guy who he doesn't look as old as he appears to be. If his first game was in 1984, I'll say that. I was really, really surprised at that. But he's got a recollection of, you know, the early days of him going and playing, his heroes being people like Berardi. I think he referenced Gary Bannister at one point. Lee Chapman was in there, Mel Sterling, those sort of players. So that's the era that he started watching football in, and he's been a season ticket holder, I do believe, since 1984. We have had, like we said, some really positive feedback in terms of the comments that were made there, and people are sort of endorsing what a decent bloke he is. I get it. I can see it. I can feel it. At this moment in time, he's the exact antithesis of what the previous chairman was. And even if he isn't the chairman, you know, at the moment, he's the guy who is the face of the club at the minute, going out there, and a lot of the stuff that we've done, the club have done publicly. I think it's him that's doing a lot of the driving there, obviously, because he's a Wednesdayite and he gets it. And I think that's important.
Yeah, I think it means something to him, and there's a level of trust I give him because he's a Wednesdayite. If as ridiculous as that sounds, just to hark back a little bit to the bit that Ash was talking about, I didn't mean to put this out earlier. If you do see this logo online, we're going to use this as our logo. It says TWW together, and it's just a highlight of our community initiative. So when we are doing something like fundraising or any kind of giveaways and amnesties and drives that we've been doing the last few years, keep an eye out for that logo, because we're going to need to dig deep like you have been already. Let's move on, because there's been a load of stuff that I tell you what, Stevie's done some great notes here, and it was talking about the ongoing PR push. So the Owls Megastore video dropped on Friday. What was the Owls Megastore video?
They just took obviously they've had, I know Stu from Lensgo's a mate of ours, and he's been down there doing the inside match day stuff again, inside training. I think there's one or two others. I don't want to confirm this, but there's a couple of people that are shooting videos and what have you. I do believe it was Stu that put it together, but it was literally just footage of people getting back into the Megastore, getting in there, queuing up, spending money, putting the shirts on, the positivity around the place, meeting the players. It was literally a promo of all the positive vibes of the last week. And I thought for a 2-minute clip, it was fantastic.
Yeah, I genuinely thought it was. Now, I'm going to just put a pin in that right now, and then we'll come back to it. Well, before I announce, because I need feedback from you guys listening out there, I'm going to announce today's Hot Topic. So this was something I brought up during, as I was chatting to Ash and Steve about what we're going to talk about when we were talking yesterday. And I think that we as Sheffield Wednesday fans have a decade-long problem, and it is the one you're thinking of. Now, what it is, we've got a good number of shirts, and some of them are quite nice, some of them are lovely, some of them are questionable, like the IKEA uniform one that looks like something that not even a Hull City fan would win. But I wanted to come up with a phrase or something that we could put across the old chairman's name across the front of the shirt. So, for example, the one that we went to Wembley in is a nice shirt. You know what I mean? It was mega popular when it came out. So I've just mocked something up here. So here's a picture of the kit there. I haven't mocked it up. I've uploaded the wrong picture completely. But there's the old chairman's name across the front. And I was thinking we need something to put across the sponsor's name. I was thinking like the word change, for example, or sort of something along those lines. I guess the question, the hot topic is, what do we put across the front of the chair? What do we put across the chairman's name on some of these kits? Because some of them are quite significant. One of them being the 150th year kit, and his name's actually bled into it. You know what I mean? So I might. So what we're going to do is come up with a few, and then we're going to give Tom Burton at Calling Mr. Meadows the opportunity to try and mock it. Ash, talk to me about the Triple P package.
Oh yes, now you're talking. Food and drink, man. My specialist subject, son. Like it, yeah. We got announced into it for 75 of your English pounds. Yeah, you can get a ticket to. It weren't just Norwich. I think they've opened up to quite a few games, haven't they, in the future, where you could get a pie, a pint, and what is it?
Padded seat.
Padded seat. That's the one. I nearly said programme. But padded seat, so that would be 4p's. £75. So yeah, just to help out, obviously, again, something that they're opening up to the wider fan base to sit in a posh seat to watch Sheffield Wednesday. And in the small print, if no one noticed, which I thought was fantastic as well, is that if you're a season ticket holder, they will deduct the price of your season ticket off that. So just to say you bought it in the last phase and it worked out at 30 quid or something, they'd knock the price of the ticket off, so you'd only pay 45 quid. So you're not paying twice, if you know what I mean, for your season ticket and this padded seat, which I thought was pretty good. So, yeah, man. Yeah, I know. Sarcastically, wow. Yeah, thank you, Dan.
No, genuinely. Wow, like, fair play. You just don't trust the club anymore. It's been a decade, right? It's been like a quarter of my life, over a quarter of my life, that I just don't trust the football club to make scrupulous decisions like that. And I'm like, no, wow, fair folks.
I think we know, I've said it twice now tonight, we understand the position the club are in, and for them to come up with all these different initiatives or ways of us spend, because we've said that before, we always love to spend as money as club, and sometimes the club makes it hard for us to spend it, like releasing the dog awful kits this season. But then the administrators have just gone, whatever thoughts and ideas that the club have had over the last 2 years, they've just gone, right, get your notebooks out, let's have a look what they are, we're going to do them. And that's it. So they're coming up with all sorts, and they opened up the stadium tours as well, didn't they? I don't think they've been going for years, and they sold out within 12 minutes.
Yep.
So the 3 games, I don't know how many spaces each tour is, at 30 maybe or something like that, but they sold out in minutes. So, I mean,
that's incredible. Do you know what? I'm sure we had stadium tours under Carlos. Is it a recent thing that they stopped doing? Probably when we all turned on the chairman and started protesting against him. Actually, you know what I mean. I bet it was around then. Now we've had some suggestions on what to do with our shirts from the last decade. Also, while I've got you, Ash, Karen Birch has said, "Do you still need ticket donations?" Karen, I'll be honest with you, this has been a bloody nightmare to manage. We might do. We'll get back in touch via one of the socials. Thank you for offering. I appreciate you. So Karen's also suggested Stronger Together to go over the top. We can have Adam Jones as under new management. We've got Jay Blogs, who's gone with customers or our club, which I kind of enjoy a really sarcastic customers. Same font. Then someone else has suggested customer. We've got cake. Embargoed, one that I really enjoy, cake ball, just cake ball across the middle of the shirt, and then we've got a nod to the video pre-game after his departure was Chancery.exe, like the file that we were getting rid of, and then we had redemption, and then one that means a lot at my end. We've also got revolution. We'll get that on. Send me an invoice, I'll get it sorted out. But we've had some really good suggestions there. And then the last one is a bit Scottish for me, and it just says freedom, which I really enjoy. Right then, I don't think I've got much else for you, chaps, apart from the any other business. Stevie, I need a drink of water. Can you take us through the other business, please?
Just super quick. It was highlighted today that Liam Palmer, it comes to me, Liam Palmer is going to go level with Kevin Pressman on Wednesday night, 4th in the all-time players list for appearances for Sheffield Wednesday with 478. It is highly likely that he will go top 2 by the end of the season, because I think it's 504-ish, give or take, they were listed. So he's up there. Testament, can be at times maligned for, you know, who he is, what he is, but, you know, it's been well documented that he is one of our own, and it's great when people are singing that in the stands. And
it's just Stevie on his own singing that.
It's just me. I don't sing anything else. It's just me. I only chime in when Liam Palmer's name is being mentioned. And Bannon is 7th with 462. So those two there are obviously, you know, you can argue whether or not we call them legends, but they deserve their status in Sheffield Wednesday folklore and history, because they're going to do something that I would argue in 2025 and going forwards will be very difficult for anybody to do again, to get that sort of level or number of appearances
in modern football. I think that is we're witnessing something really rare. Regardless of what you think about the players, we're witnessing something really rare there in modern football, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. They've done it over a course of time, sort of 10, 12 years. So we'll see what that looks like for some of our younger players. You look at some of these academy players, and if it clicks, having said all of that, and they, you know, put their names forward and end up being part of the club, and, you know, they work their way through and sit there. Imagine Ernie Weaver under a new owner sitting here in 13, 14 years time. He might be there taking the mantle off them, but, you know, they're there to sort of retain to now.
Was that it? Was that the other business? Yes, it was. Yes, that was all of it. You encapsulated the lot. I remember reading there was 3, and then you did the lot. I appreciate you, Steve. Thank you very much, Stevie. Sorry, I hate saying Steve when I'm referring to you. My apologies. Ashley, do you have anything? That's not his name. Ashley, do you have anything to add, my love?
No, I don't. I just personally, just to thank you, like I said earlier, about all the donations and stuff, and people spending the money at the club shop and everything that the fans are doing for the club. They are asking for us to spend our money, and it's not easy. It's not for everyone. Not everyone's in the same position to be able to. But what was it? 250,000 in 2 days over last weekend, and however many thousand we're going to sell for Norwich again. So it's just one from me personally to all the Wednesday fans that they've really stepped up, haven't they? And it just shows you, when you don't treat us like twats, idiots, sorry, I shouldn't use that word, idiots, then the fans want to spend the money at the club, don't they? And it's took us to get into administration, minus 12 points, and look what happened. So I think whoever it'll be, the new owner, I think they're getting a fantastic fan base that's going to go.
That's an interesting one, Ash. I just wanted to just pull at that. Do you reckon that, you know, if a new owner comes in and let's say he keeps a couple of the people that are already working at the club still there, you know, in the high end positions and stuff like that, I trust that some of those people already working at the club, you know, like Trev Braithwaite's been there a number of years, right? He could say to the new owner, "Don't take the piss. If you treat them like grown-ups, they'll act like grown-ups. If you treat them with respect, they'll show you some respect." Because there's always an element of a new owner coming in. Well, we had it 10 years ago, right? Coming in and taking the smeg. And I feel like a new owner needs to be reminded. Might sound like a harsh phrase, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're right, totally right. Especially, it all depends who comes in as well, don't you? We've all probably seen on social media, even though we're not supposed to, the names that are banded around by news outlets of who could be in, who's got their £50 million deposit, proof of funds, and everything like that. So it all depends who they are. You know, obviously Mike Ashley, he's been in football before. He knows, for whatever you think about Mike Ashley, he left Newcastle in a better position. Yes, the fans didn't like him and the way he went. But then you're going to get foreign investors coming. You don't know how they'll take to an English game. Like you said, just Dan, our previous chairman didn't take to the English fans at all, did he? So, no. You know, it's going to be an interesting one. And hopefully they'll bring people in that know how to run a business, how to run football, but then also keep some of, well, if not all the people at the club, because I imagine 95% of them that work at the club are Wednesdayites, aren't they?
You've got to be if you're still there.
Well, yeah, if you're still there after the shite they've gone through for the last 12 months, 24 months, then yes, it's going to be an interesting one into the next few months. But yeah, you're right. I think the fans have got to be thought of, and I'm sure they will be.
I was just going to tag on the back of that. I think a lot of everything that is being spoken about at the moment is around that. Let's show the potential new owners what the club is about. So this, supporters piling into the ground, selling things out. Yeah, obviously there's a monetary reason that we're doing that, but as well, if you go back and listen to the highlights of Saturday's game, all you can hear is Wednesday night singing. And this is no slight on West Brom. We were louder than West Brom on Saturday for pretty much 90 minutes. It was stark. We go and travel away. We do the bits that we do. We, as a fan base, there's a growth model waiting to happen there, isn't there? So anybody that's coming in looking at it, it's not just about investing to make sure that they can take the club and control it. Obviously, as a fan base, we want them to come in, develop the infrastructure, look at the ground. Chris Wigfield made some really interesting comments about what he would do with the ground in the Your Wednesday that we did last week. Again, I'm not going to say him. Go listen to what he had to say, sort of thing, on that clip. But it's important that people are aware of the potential that we have, this club is, and it's not just about football. If you're looking at a developmental thing for a foreign investor to come to Sheffield, which is one of the 5-6, depending on what where you want to go with it, largest cities in Sheffield, in the country, from a geographical point of view, we're slap bang in the middle of England. So with links that are being developed, your HS2 and everything else that's going on and around, for somebody who wants to come in and make their mark, Sheffield is a great place to be. So beyond the football, let's see if we can sell that as well and get some prospective new owners in that are going to do the best for Sheffield as well as the football club.
Did Mark the Pitsmore Owl write that speech for you?
It felt like when I finished, I was like, where have I just gone with that?
Yeah. If you're watching Simon Jordan, I'm going to tag you in it. Right, listen, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thanks a lot to Ash and Stevie for getting through what was the epitome of a 0-0 ball draw show. We did really well to get an hour out of that. Thanks a lot for joining us this evening. Please keep an eye up on our socials for any more charity endeavours that we do, and Ash will pop a tweet out depending on whether he can. He's got time in his headspace and his calendar to see if he can reallocate some tickets. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday Week. Bringing you football analysis.
He said we'll win the league next season.
Bringing you modern references.
I did a little 1920s fist pump there. Not done that in a while.
If we could do just a 1-to-1, not me because it'd last 7 days apparently, like Craig David.
I should not have said that. I should not have said that.
This show's like you're mental. No, I'm not.
Clip that.
Bringing you terrible impressions.
Wibble, wobble, wobbly, wobbly, wibble, wobble, Simon Jordan. When, hey, you got to play a 4-4-2. She. I don't know where these jokes are coming from.
Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there, podcasts, etc.
The award-winning Wednesday Week. Join us.
Put on your pod